because this land that we're on, the people that owned it had passed on, and they gifted it to the ELC. So this site is quite unique in that it's 67 acres. It was farmed organically, and it was gifted to them. And that's our job here, is to manage this land, protect this land, and keep it going. And it was the same land that we wanted to be stewards on. They call you a steward because you are protecting and safeguarding the land for the future generations.
Hey guys, I'm AJ.
I'm Shanique.
I'm Kazi.
So in 2018, we quit our jobs to travel the world and live a freedom lifestyle.
We wanted to share our journey with you.
So welcome to the family.
What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Black Brits Abroad. We have a lovely family here. We call this family. Of course, you know the Empress. Shanique is here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
I'm Tenesia.
Hi guys, I'm Danny.
Yes, and together they are
Earth to Earth Organics.
And
Earth's Farm.
Yeah, baby. Okay, so we are bringing you a special episode today, and it's going to take you on a journey of a wonderful adventure, because today we are in Wales. Oh yes, you see the greenery, see the lush, you see all this? Behind me you have blackberries. I'm telling you, it's gorgeous. We're going to try and keep it nice, sweet, short, and, you know, a little bit of spice up in there. So, I want to dive right into it. Who are you?
Oh man, that's a deep question. How much time you got?
Yeah.
Keep it nice.
I don't think we'll ever really know the answer to that question just yet, but we are a married couple. We've been together for 17 years, married for 10.
Woo.
We've been running a business together for 8 years.
8 years.
Earth Organic Skincare, which is, we make natural and organic body butters, body washes, and everything in between. As you can see, these they're glowing.
Oh
They're
yeah, we
glowing.
use the products. Oh yes.
Day one.
Day one customers.
Day
Day
one.
one customers. And yeah, we were based in London. I was living in London for 20 years after being raised in Guyana, really. And you, young man?
I'm born and raised in London, and when T and I met, well, let's fast forward. After we met and after we got married, there was something about, you know, just building together, and the skincare started as a bit of an accident because T had issues with her skin, and it was just supposed to be whipping up remedies for her. She had itchy skin and she needed a way to combat it after coming from Guyana. It began her issues for years. So she finally done something about it, but then she whipped up something that, you know, a lot of friends and family started to use, like.
Even though he wouldn't use it in the beginning.
I wouldn't
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you used to use?
I'm not gonna say the name.
Yeah. No promotions.
He used to use this butter Jason, yeah, because mine was too hard. But eventually we got it. You guys helped us work out the texture as well, innit?
Oh
Yes,
yes, because
yeah.
our daughter actually had eczema, and we just couldn't solve it. So we just reached out to these guys, and you know, the specialists that they are in this area, they just whipped together something, and we've been loyal for over a decade.
Yeah.
Loyal. We travel with the products. We'll batch order.
We ordered for like a year.
Oh, yes,
Even
we do.
Mexico. When I remember when you guys first got to Mexico, we were like sending like 12 tubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the origin story is that you moved from Guyana, came here, and obviously the skin issues happened. I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Yes.
And then you couldn't find any solutions on the market, but also you didn't want to contaminate your body with too many chemicals.
No.
And so you created something by accident, and the audience responded, the customer base responded.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, I guess, because we were out of the blue. We met at an event,
Yeah.
and therefore we continue on the journey, and other people continue on the journey once they met you, heard about your story.
Yeah.
So then we've started 10 years ago, and can you give me a timeline from 10 years ago to this point where we are right now?
Oh man. So, okay. So we got married in 2014.
Same as us.
Yes.
Yeah, we couldn't attend the wedding because it was the same year.
There's a lot of symmetry in these stories.
Yeah.
We
As you can hear, these kids are in the background. We're bringing it the real.
So we got married in 2014. By 2015, T started to experiment with the skincare.
Yeah.
By 2016, I started to help her, and by the end of that year, we did our first market in South London in Brixton around just before Christmas, and Mr. Man was actually right there, front and center, for the first ever. And because we needed some help on the day, it was actually quite a quiet market, but it was like it set the tone for quite frankly these lot being as much a part of this journey as we've been, and big love always every day, and blessings to you guys, man, honestly. So 2018, let's just say our journeys really cross over a lot, because it was March 2018 when we officially launched the skincare business, and that was I think the same month that you guys
we couldn't attend your launch party.
Literally. So it was like, I was like, okay, and it was like, it's cool because we were starting our journeys at the exact same time. And then that same month, actually, we won Harrow Business Day because we used to live in Harrow.
Yes, of course.
And then that kind of emboldened us to say, you're doing something right, we're going to keep going. And then I guess fast forward to 2022. By this point, we've moved out of London. Is that jumping too far?
Yeah. So after winning Harrow Business, then we started doing markets. We were doing markets like every weekend, but we were still working full time. We had careers. He was for the BBC, I was M&S, so it was full on all the time. And then we were like, oh yeah, we want to start a family. So we then moved to Bedfordshire in Biggleswade in 2019, just before COVID actually. We moved in November. And then we really liked the countryside. It gave us more space to start growing food. We already had 2 allotments in London. So we were doing that for a little while. Started off with 1 bed from his mom's allotment. And then we ended up with 2 plots. Growing. We really, really enjoyed growing. But then it's London, right? And it takes half an hour to get to 2 miles down the road to water the plants in the allotment. And we just had enough of it. We had enough of London. We had enough of being busy all the time. And then we actually had a miscarriage. And then we said, well, if we're really going to be serious and if we really want a baby and we really want a family, then God's saying, you lot are too busy. You need to calm down. So yeah, and then we moved to Bedfordshire, had a quieter time, pulled things right back, and fortunately we got pregnant, had our baby during COVID times, which is another story, and traveled to Hereford. Was it Hereford?
Yeah, we went for a week away to the countryside in Herefordshire, and like we spent one of the days crossing over into Wales to the Brecon Beacons.
Which is so pretty.
That particular day, it was just quite, I guess, magical because it kind of set our trajectory on the Welsh side of things. What, a year later? About a year later, we ended up saying, let's do this, and it's like literally, threw up a pin. And it dropped somewhere in Wales, and that's where we went.
Wow.
But what really set it off is we were in Brecon Beacons. It had waterfalls. Everybody that we encountered was really lovely. And I was like, this feels just like Guyana. It was lush, it was foresty, it was just pretty. I mean, obviously we were here now on a hot day because Wales rains a lot. So yeah, after we visited Wales, we went back home and we had a letter through our door. Our rent was going up like £40, and we were like, you know what, we're moving to Wales.
Oh, can I just say, we said before we opened the letter, if it's £20, which we thought it would be, we were like, we'll just handle it. But £40 was
too far.
It went too far. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back, and we was like, nah, you're taking the biscuit. So It's like the difference between £20 basically sent us to another country.
Wow.
Wow.
And,
It was
and
mad.
seeing as we are on that junction, another country in Wales.
Yes.
Wales.
Whole different language, whole different culture,
Yeah. I
whole
mean,
different weather system.
that part.
They've been here a week. In August. And we've had, what, 3 sunny days?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And listen, it's but if you've never been to Wales, this like me, I thought it was super cold, and the people speak a different language. And that part, I came and I saw words on billboards. I'm saying to myself, what is going on here? I don't know any of these words.
You're like, why does W and F and V, why is it going together?
Today I saw 3 F's in one place. I'm like, am I doing a color scheme? But let's. I regress. Wales.
Yes.
So you threw a pin up in the air.
Yes,
landed
literally.
in Wales, and
Thank you, honey.
my son came by to put his water gun down. Okay. So we're in Wales. The pin went up, landed in Wales. So tell me your journey and your experience in Wales, because I think a lot of people want to understand from your direct experience, not from from seeing things on movies or fictional things, but your experience. Can you sum that up from a family point of view? Can you sum that up from a business point of view? Sum that up from the way how you've been received as people? How do you find the people here? And just give us a flavor of how you feel in Wales.
Well, there's a lot in that. And if I diced it up, I would say, yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive. We genuinely, because we've been here over 2 years now, and it's been a really wonderful feeling. I think that's a nice word. Like of I don't like to say accepted, but you feel comfortable, welcomed.
What's the Welsh word for welcome again?
Chaiso.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what.
Someone's gonna tell me,
We pronounce it wrong.
Chaiso.
But we're learning.
And it's very much it very much does feel chaiso. And because as black people, right, it's like you can maneuver in the world in such a way where you know when you feel something, you get a vibe. It's a vibe check. You do a vibe check everywhere you go, and that's what we do. We vibe check the place beforehand. It's like you're just talking to people randomly on the road or in shops, and
you're talking to people
randomly.
Yeah.
Well,
they're like West Indians. They like a chat.
You got. Yeah. And actually, no, Welsh people like to talk.
Yeah.
They give you a
They're
good
like
conversation. Good conversation.
Okay.
But casual. Nothing where you feel like you're getting stared at or something, or like people asking you silly questions. It's very just friendly. And that's been our experience kind of from day one. We've been up and down the country, left and right, city to countryside, and it's genuinely. I can't speak for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because we've got a lot of friends here, and different people will have different experiences.
Yeah.
But from our experience, more positive than not.
No?
A lot of people, I often hear a lot of people giving really mixed opinions of being melanated in Wales, but the vibe I'm getting from you guys, like in our group, there's been a lot of chatter about it as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that people tend to have more issues maybe like in the cities, but it seems like the countryside is just chill, and I feel like that's world over.
Yeah.
Often.
Yes. I feel like cities breed a certain type of energy generally.
Yeah.
It's like London has a very fun but also fast-paced, like stressed energy.
Yes,
I would say Swansea is a little bit similar. The energy is just a bit off. Cardiff is still quite nice, but the busier parts, I think cities just carry, New York, they carry this busy,
intense,
bustling, like on Red Bull all the time type stress sort of energy.
Yeah.
And we had enough of that sort of space. But that energy means that if you had road rage and then somebody bumped you and then somebody's on the side of the escalator, and then so by the time you get to work, you're angry.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily you, it's just a situation, and then all the make believe things with race just make it worse.
It's funny because if you told somebody to judge a whole country based on the one place that they visited in that country, it's not fair, really, is it? If somebody came to England and judged it based purely on their London experience, I'd be like, well, you're not really getting an overall experience. Because you could go anywhere in any country, like say, and have a completely different experience to somebody based on where they went as well, and the time of year that they went, what was happening politically or socially. So your own personal experience should always be taken into consideration over anybody else's. Because if you go by everybody else's experiences, then you'll never know.
So I wanted to ask another question we get often asked about living abroad is kind of typical costs of living. Obviously you guys have come from London, so what does cost of living look like here compared to life in London, especially around like rent and accommodation?
Okay, so go ahead.
Well, almost in a nutshell, and we've lived in a few places over the last few years. We've never spent more than £700
on rent.
Excuse me?
On rent.
And we've had
3 and 4 bedroom houses.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, that's the real talk. Real talk.
What? What am I doing?
It's one of the reasons we moved.
And truth be told, we were never.
He said he hasn't spent more than £700, and his standard is 3 to 4 bed.
And also, because we've lived mostly countryside, water rates have been included, because Welsh water is, at least the experience we've had, has been really good, so you don't really need to invest in lots of filters. The first house we lived in, the filter system was already in there. They had a borehole, and then the second place we lived in, same thing, they had water filtered from a spring. The second place was like the best one because it was a 3 beds. Heating was included from like October to April.
Yeah.
So October to April at that specific place, there was no heating bill.
Wow.
And we paid heating for like 3 months, and that was 150 pounds because from
not per month. For the 3 months.
For the 3 months, it was 100 and something, and we didn't have to pay water.
£155.
£155.
Wow.
And council tax was like, the first place was like £180 because it was a 4 bed, so it was a higher grade.
The next
but
place,
the second place was, even though it was a 3 bed, it was like band B or A. So under £1,000.
And can I say both places? I mean, talk about a view.
Beautiful.
We were never more than
half
an hour from a major town. So doing your shopping and everything, so you take it as a day out. I mean, let's be honest, even if you were 3 miles away from your local Tesco's or whatever in London, it still take you half hour to get there.
With traffic, exactly.
Some nice countryside, the same amount of time.
So you're driving for further, but the time is the same, and food bills I'd say are roughly the same. Petrol, all that stuff is the same because obviously it's just Wales and it's not like it's miles away. But in terms of your general bills, that was better because even when you have, because in one of the houses we had the oil tank at the back.
Yep. Oh, and we paid. So for that one, we paid annually. So to get it filled up, so it was like 1,000.
One of the big tanks.
It's like 1,000 liters. So we bought our gas in, and that cost about £600. About £700 for the year.
Fill it.
For the year,
to fill it for the year. So you break that down. I think what's that like? I don't know, £50 a
Not even.
We didn't even because you don't use it a lot. You don't use it a lot in the winter months. You use it more, but we were quite frugal with it. We
our skin's much harder now.
Because you can't. I don't think you should move out to the countryside if you're not prepared to.
Put on a few extra jumpers.
Sometimes it's because you can't have the heating on all the time. It's just not realistic.
And we also had electric heaters, so that balance. And even at the height of our skincare production in winter, when we would be making more products for Christmas, obviously.
So that's including business as well.
Our electricity bill wasn't more than £70 a month.
Wow.
So
beautiful.
In terms of that perspective, it's cheaper. Buying food and stuff, like I said, is the
similar.
same.
Basically, £1,000 will get you by
Yeah,
With all your
that'll
bills.
cover
with
your
a solid,
Yeah.
with a solid three
Yeah.
bedroom house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
a-
amazing.
But like
yeah.
we just keep in mind that we lived in the country because that was what we wanted. I don't know how different it would be living
in
in
the
city.
cities. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I'm
of
assuming
course.
Cardiff would be more expensive.
Yeah.
But we mostly lived in Carmarthenshire countryside.
And also
Okay.
to consider that, you know, because we work for ourselves, we didn't have to commute
Yeah.
Yes.
to anywhere.
Yes,
So anything that
yes,
we were
yes,
doing
yes.
outside of the house, if it wasn't business related, it'd be something.
Pure
'cause,
leisure.
You know, we got a son, and you know, days
Yeah.
out. There was a lot of nature days out. So a
Lots
lot
of parks,
walks,
lots of walks.
Yeah.
Just
Just
beautiful
easy
places.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Easy
Yeah.
entertainment.
You know.
And even soft play up here. Soft play up here is like £4.
Yeah.
Hey.
And there's no time limit.
Oh, because
You
I was
can be
gonna
in
say
there all
in London
day.
we're paying like £10 per child
Yeah.
for like an hour.
No,
Yes.
there's no time limit.
They'd be like, here's your
Wow.
£4.
See you there.
Yeah, and the
They-
parents don't have
yeah.
to pay. It's just that you just pay for the child.
See, look at that.
Yeah, you just
look
pay for
at
the
that.
child.
Thank
Good
you.
to know.
Park,
Good to
park,
know.
can I say parking? Because you know, having come from London to here, it's like it's basically never an issue.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the road or a car
Yeah.
park, car park's never more than like £1.80
Yeah.
at the top end,
Yeah.
an hour at the top end.
Yeah.
Even the
yeah.
cinema's cheaper here.
I mean, everything's
Yeah.
just
Everything is.
better.
They're just
and
selling
quieter,
this to us,
and
basically.
quieter.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
it
They're
is
just
super
selling
quiet.
this to
Yeah.
us.
And that's why we're able to record outside because it's just so quiet.
Y'all ain't heard nothing but cows and children.
Yeah.
That's it. Wonderful. Then, are you enjoying living in Wales?
Oh, 100%.
It's genuinely been the best move we've ever made. You know, and we moved around quite a bit, but it's genuinely been. It's like we're not going back.
Yeah.
You know,
Alright then.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
going back to England.
I feel like
we're
people
not going
are-
back to London. It's like not permanently. You know,
Yeah.
like this feels like home. We've been
Yeah.
building we've built a community of friends and even I call them family even over the last couple of years, and I don't know. It's an energy. You
Okay.
know, and finally, kind of arriving at our farm now, which was the intention, to have our own space to really live in nature and really be amongst the wilderness.
Yeah.
It's true.
It doesn't get any better than that for us.
And it's got a very rich culture, and they're very proud people. And because of the history between the British and the Welsh, the English and the Welsh, they're really rooted in their language. They're rooted in keeping their culture alive, their foods alive. So that's why everything, like all the signs are in Welsh and English, and they're very, like, if you can learn the language and you can show that you're learning the language, it means a lot to the people, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a massive West Indian community here. At one point, Notting Hill Carnival and the carnival in Cardiff was the same height of excitement, of people, of joy. So there's a lot that we're learning here. We're still learning about the West Indian community here and how much the Windrush generation added to this landscape as well. So it's beautiful, you know?
Oh, thank you. So it looks like you're enjoying life in Wales. Yeah. And I'm enjoying being on the farm, fresh air, clean water. So now we want to talk about the farm. This is exciting.
You
Yeah.
guys have a farm.
You have a
We're on
farm?
farm.
Yeah.
It's so
How big is the farm?
So we are currently site managers of 67 acres.
Okay.
And our personal plot of land is 7 acres.
7 acres.
Yes.
That is a nice chunk.
Yeah, so you've been in the field. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've walked it.
Put it to work.
Yeah.
Get into work people.
Yeah.
So with that, how did you get here?
We intentionally moved to Wales with the idea of having our own farm, and Wales felt like the best place for various reasons. We've gotten the vibe check, and we just wanted to move west as well. Everything just felt like move west. Keep
Okay.
going west.
Yeah.
It's like it drew us there.
But so essentially you got here. But how did you get here? Did you purchase the farm? Did you?
Okay.
How did you get here?
No, so basically, before we came to Wales, we had met a farmer who was our local farmer, and he was providing our vegetables, and he told us about the Ecological Land Cooperative, and they are a cooperative they basically buy and restore and help farmers with land. So if you think of the National Trust for buildings, the ELC is like that for farmers, and farmers like us who just can't afford to go buy a farm full out, but that want access and support. So what you get with that is we went through a whole application process. You go through a vetting process first to make sure that you align with their values and their mission, which we align with because we are for planet, for people, before profit. Profit is in there, but it's more about the ecology of the land and bringing communities into that land, into that space, and education. So we aligned with that. Then we went through business planning with them, and after that process, there was another interview and then another interview.
Okay.
So we went through. It's quite a good vetting process, to be fair, and we were quite nervous with the interview, but we were successful.
Nice.
But before that interview, they actually had a job going because this land that we're on, the people that owned it had passed on, and they gifted it to the ELC. So this site is quite unique in that it's 67 acres. It was farmed organically, and it was gifted to them. And that's our job here, is to manage this land, protect this land, and keep it going. And it was the same land that we wanted to be stewards on. They call you a steward because you are protecting and safeguarding the land for the future generations.
Oh, nice.
So we didn't purchase our land. It's a long-term rental lease, which gives us security in that if we wanted to stay here until we die, or if we wanted to pass it on to Kamani after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So right now, if you buy a plot with them on their Bearfield site, and the Bearfield site is a site that's just land and it doesn't have buildings, and they help you with the planning to build your home, to build your farm, whatever you need. But because this is quite unique in the gifted sense, they're going through the legalities to make sure that they can give us something similar to that.
Yes.
So this is brand new. This is the first site they've been gifted.
Okay.
So we're in quite a unique space of being stewards of this land and also managing it.
So then, what's your vision? Because you have Earth to Earth Organics, and then now you have Earth Farm. What's your vision for Earth Farm and the wider community?
No, I think you're really good at explaining that. I've been umming and ahhing and waffling. I've been doing that since school.
No, you're doing great.
You're doing great. Go on.
Fantastic.
Well, the vision in the simplest form, and then
Yes, you expand on it.
You're really good at this, Papa.
But Earth to Earth Organics, the idea is to grow the flowers for the skincare. Initially starting with the essential oils that we use for the products. So your lavender, chamomile, calendula, mint, lemon verbena, rose, all of those that we've already started to grow and experiment with over the last few years. Those will be some of our first crops that will replace a lot of our essential oils, and we will begin to infuse our oils with our homegrown, home farmed flowers. On the Earth's Farm side of things, the idea is to grow culturally relevant vegetables that are relevant to the Caribbean, African and South Asian palates. We wanted to niche down on vegetables that we actually know and grew with, and to help our direct communities with food and education that can help future generations with our overall health. We have a lot of hypertension, diabetes, heart disease within our communities that has really affected us generationally, and that we know from our experience can actually grow in this climate as well.
Okay.
So to reduce importation of a lot of fruits and vegetables from globally, to reduce our carbon footprint.
The vision of the farm is to have a space where we are growing food for our communities, but we're also educating young people and people who would go on to be farmers. So we think it's really important to train up the next generation by having them come here for 3 to 6 months to a year and
nice.
collaborate with the university so that they can actually be certified for that.
Mm.
We want to have a space where children can come in, where people with different abilities can come in and be in that space and flex. You're going to see flowers, you're going to see lots of veg you're familiar with or your parents would have been familiar with growing up. You're going to see ponds, you're going to see different trees, and you're going to be able to interact with those things. Herbs that you would have grown up seeing, herbs that your parents would have talked about. So it's really, we call it the love space.
Ooh, I
You know,
like that.
and people will be able to camp, they'll be able to come and stay at a holiday let eventually. So we've only been here 6 weeks now, maybe 7 weeks
Early.
now.
That's 7, yeah.
7 weeks, so not long.
Just getting started.
Yeah, and it's August, so there's not too much that we can do. We're going to be prepping the land, so we'll be looking for volunteers next spring.
Oh yes, this sounds
Yeah, so
exciting.
we'll make sure to like include all the details
Yes.
of how to get in touch with you
Exactly.
if people are interested.
Exactly, and we are planning this for the future. So Dan and I, as much as we would like to live forever, cannot. So we're planning with a permaculture designer to make sure that how we do the landscape and how we do things is with nature. We will be doing solar panels and wind turbines and whatever we can to limit the usage of fossil fuels and all these things.
Okay.
So as close to nature as possible with nature in hand, it's a partnership. There is funding available. There's funding available through many different routes, via the council, via the lottery, there's lots of things we've discovered here. We have registered as a community interest company, which means that we are for the community and are for the benefit of the community. So we
Okay.
can get funding for things.
So that's a different way of registering for a business.
So not like a limited company.
Okay.
Limited company, you are limited in terms of being able to get grants.
Oh wow.
And a lot of different
Yeah.
types of, because
Yeah.
most limited companies, are for profit.
Profit.
Company.
So really think about how you're going to register your business and what you want to do and what that vision for it is. Like, what do you want it to look like in 100 years? And then you can come back and start from that point of view. Anything you grow, you can sell. So whether it's animals, whether it's vegetables, you can sell them. You just need to go through the right legal routes for it. Because
Okay.
obviously with animals, there's jobs there's different procedures. So you just have to go through that. And you can start your socials before, so you can have a market ready for your business.
To
And can
actually,
you-
oh sorry.
No, continue.
No, to get started and to just get your education up about farming in general, there's a lot of Facebook groups to join, like Land Workers Alliance.
Yes.
Like if you're specifically in Wales, there's Social Farms Wales. In terms of funding, again, in Wales, you look at companies to help, such as Compass and Social Firms Wales and Business Wales. Was it?
Yes, Business Wheels is a good one too.
Because we can only really reflect on Welsh Welsh ones more so on our side, but it's really a lot about doing your own research
Yeah.
Of course.
and getting to that point where you say, well, I want my farm in Wales, or whether it's in England or whether it's in Scotland, wherever it is,
Yeah.
and doing your research with regards to
Yeah.
Okay.
that area.
So you can get grants available, funding for for your farm or for starting the process or just to get everything up
Yeah.
and running. And in relation to structures on a farm, I have very limited knowledge. Explain that to me. Can you have a permanent house, or does it have to be mobile? How does it work? Because the land, I vaguely know that the land is sensitive. So what does that look like in terms of like a home or multiple homes?
From the limited knowledge that we have, different types of land have different gradings, which means there's things that you can and cannot do.
Okay.
If certain land, I think if it's agricultural land, you cannot just put a building on that.
Right.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So you have to go through planning if there's no planning already. This is more of a straightforward scenario because it already has a house, it already has barns. It's 67 acres, which means that there is permitted developments. There are certain buildings that we can put on this land that are movable that you do not need planning for.
Okay.
So
Is it right to say I think it's over 12.5 acres? If you
Yeah.
own over 12.5 acres,
that already has a building on it though.
if that already has a building on
Yeah.
it,
Then you can add you can add on to that, and planning should be more straightforward. Planning is more straightforward.
But if you don't have a building on
If
a
you
12
don't
and a half
have,
acres,
yeah, so that's why a lot of people are having issues, because if you just buy agricultural land that's, let's say,
that's
for
what it's
grazing or whatever, you
Yeah.
cannot
Okay.
just build on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And a lot of people might
Oh.
think, oh, let me just get 3 acres and build a house. It
I've
doesn't
just got
work
land.
like that.
Yeah.
Because you might only, like, some people might just buy forest, but you can only live on that for like 28 days a year. So a lot of people have just been buying land and not understanding the legalities of it. That's why we're with the Ecological Land Cooperative, because
Okay.
even if you buy land from them that does not have buildings on it, they can help you get that planning. And in
Gotcha.
Wales, there's a thing called One Planet Development, which is if you're living off the land and it's a large, like the majority of your money and your sustenance needs to come from that land, and it needs to be eco. You cannot be driving all the time. You cannot be doing a lot of different things. There's a lot of paperwork in it. But if it's what you want, you can do it. That exists in Wales, but it doesn't exist everywhere. I don't think it exists in England.
In England.
So you really have to know the legalities of the land, and because there's so much red tape, this scenario for us made a lot of sense.
Yeah, you've got the support.
Yes.
And you're going through the right channels.
Yes.
These are the people that know
They have
Yes.
the
the right way
paperwork.
to go.
And anything
Yeah.
we need help
Yeah.
with, if we're going after grants and we're not quite sure, if we're going after planning, we're not quite sure, they
They'll
will help
support
us
you.
do it and support us through it.
That is
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
That is
Okay.
awesome. We had a couple questions. People were asking about utilities, and I know now you're able to say that you create your product with 100% renewable
Yes.
energy.
Yeah.
So is that I mean, and obviously you've come here and it's kind of set up for you ready already, but people are asking about like solar panels, wind turbines. Someone asked about, kind of, I guess, boring a hole in order to use natural sources and reducing
Your
utility
bills?
bills. Yeah.
So yeah, you can, if you have springs on your land, you can have a borehole. I think you get planning for it, but and you get it tested. You have to get it filtered. But yeah, you can do that. If a lot of farmland or like this has a spring, and there's another spring at the top there, but you just have to make sure that it's filtered properly, because this one has a bit too much iron for human consumption.
Oh.
Wind turbines, you obviously have to get planning for that, but there's smaller ones. Solar panels, as long as you can afford it, you can put it up. You can get the battery powered.
And solar panels, there's a lot of grants to get solar panels. Specifically, if you own your own home.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you
really?
own your own home, there's a lot of grants that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
That you can get solar panels up for.
Yeah.
Basically for free.
But also, we can just talk
Wow.
about Wales. I don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I
England
think that's
and in
UK wide.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
That's interesting.
But again, we've got to do your
A
own
lot
know
of
the
things,
right
yeah.
people,
Because
yeah.
what we're learning here is that there's a lot of things, there's a lot of ways that you can be helped, but people either don't share the information, or you just don't know it because
Yeah.
you're not in those circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
since
yeah.
being here the last 2 years, we have learned that there's a lot of support, and there's a lot of people who are supporting young farmers, because without the food, like, what's life?
It's like a
Yeah.
dying trade.
What
So
is
I was
that?
going to say it's a
Yeah.
dying trade,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Okay, then. So, if you should summarize together in just a very short way, someone who wants to leave the rat race, someone who wants to have a more sustainable
Self-sustaining. Yeah.
life, what are the steps they should take in from your own experience that's brought you to this point? What are the steps that they should take so that they can say, okay, these are potentially the steps? It's not extensive, but these are the steps that I would have taken had I known everything I know now.
Had we known everything we know now, I think we would have still come and lived in a few different places first
Okay,
before settling on a place.
that is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
God definitely guided us here, because Carmarthenshire is the place for social enterprises, which is what we are. It's a place for full support. It's like we've met how many people from restaurants that have said, bring your food when it's ready, we'll buy it.
Oh,
We've
wow.
met so many communities. There's a really lovely black community here, but there's also a really lovely community of farmers. Like, we had a leak on our farm the other day, or the farmer next door came to help us sort it out. Like, you guys were here, you know?
Yes.
So it is that place where we're in, where you can literally go and borrow a mug of sugar. Like, it's that sort of community.
That's old school.
But just being landed in the Carmarthenshire, that's why I said God brought us here, because we could have ended up anywhere in Wales, but this
Yeah.
is the hub. Like, we've got support from Social Farms Wales, Social Farms Wales as well, Compass, all these different government organizations that are helping us and feeding us into not just how you grow, but how to get it to market as well.
So-
Test out places by living in them.
Yes.
Travel to places, talk to people,
Uh-huh.
go to community hubs. Wales has a lot of community hubs.
Okay. Then.
Then just find out how people did things and learn from them. So when once we found out Social Farms Wales, then they said, oh, there's this grant here, do that. Oh, there's that there, do that. Oh, come here and see this farm.
Okay.
So you get connected, and
Okay.
once it's just go to the community hubs, connect with the people, and then really think about what you want to do and what that vision really looks like, and then develop how if you want to have business, how you're going to do that business, what does that look like, and then build everything, get your grants.
And from in the community, those relationships, they can help you to flesh out your idea that you just wanted to live into more of a realistic piece.
Build community, travel, see the place, build community, develop your dream, and bring them along with you.
I think
Nice.
I'm gonna add some to that, because I think I'm gonna emphasize on the build community.
Okay.
Because we came here knowing nobody,
Yeah.
Okay.
and the truth is that was difficult, but at the same time, sometimes you got to be a bit bold
Yeah.
with it, because it's turned out to be a wonderful move, but at the same time there was a lot of hiccups and a lot of I guess
Yes.
heartache as well in that process. Where we first ended up, we came to learn things as well from them. They had land, so there was a lot of opportunities for us to learn how to manage large pieces of land, rewild, just learning how to use certain tools,
Yes.
and
How to cut
figuring
trees
out
and
how you
cut it
maintain the maintenance of the land. But when we talk about community, you know, in the countryside, you're few and far between with regards to people. You don't just have people on your doorstep. You might not have any friends or family around that are already close by. So you've really got to think about that. But I wouldn't say it's a means to put somebody off of doing it. I say patience will be your best friend, but also just being bold.
Yeah, being intentional.
You have to just go for it. It's like if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to whatever it is that you were doing.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's one of those things. It's like this is life.
Yeah.
You know, you guys know you've done it in the respects that thankfully we had our own business, which emboldened us to just be like, let's just go. Right, we don't
quit our
work for
jobs.
anybody. we quit our jobs, and then a year later, then we moved.
Yeah.
So then, on piggybacking off that, so and I guess to wrap it up, in people who may feel a little bit apprehensive, when will your farm be ready and a space for people to potentially test the waters by coming and, you know, live in, to volunteer, and just to get a taste of what it could potentially be like?
People can volunteer from spring.
People can,
But,
spring 2025.
Okay.
Yeah. Spring. I'm like, what year are we in? Spring 2025. And then from spring 2026 is when we really start trading as a full business, because we are really invested in getting the soil healthy and just observing the land a bit more. We visited this place like 4 times before we actually moved here.
Okay.
So we kind of understand the flow of the wind and the sun and all this stuff.
Nice. So then that means accommodation
Mm-hmm.
will be on land
By 2026.
2026, which
Possibly
means that
2025.
possibly 2025,
Possibly.
which means that opportunities are there to spread your wings, to test it out, to
Yeah.
come and volunteer. Even if it's just a volunteer to help out a great project, you
Yes.
can do
Yeah.
that, or just to test it out to see if you can use this alternative lifestyle and tap into the knowledge that these two have to
And
just
also come and share your knowledge, because listen,
What?
I know
Oh,
a lot of
yes.
you lot
Oh,
have a lot of information. I know your
Yes.
grandma's been growing calories in your backyard. Yeah, so come and share your knowledge with us.
That
It's really
is it.
important to pass it on.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think you guys are doing a wonderful job in holding spaces for people to say, we can go to this spot in Wales to have a wonderful experience from
Yeah.
a dream, also I guess from a holistic point of view
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
if there's anything else you want to say to the guys, I think this is where we're going to give you the floor just to
Drop
rinse
drop your
all the
details.
details,
Where
the
can we
socials,
find you?
where people can just tap in and just connect with you and help support you.
So social media wise, at Earth's Farm, EARTHS.
We're gonna link it down below.
Yeah.
FARM, Earth to Earth at Earth to Earth Organics. Both of those are on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
But also our YouTube channel currently.
Yeah, it's gonna be called Earth Farm by the time this video comes out.
Yeah, it's currently called the Pascals. So depending on when this video comes out, I don't know. But and you can follow our journey. We will be trying to upload an episode at least once a month.
Yeah.
Of just the journey and the building
Yeah.
of it all. We will need your help. We're building polytunnels. We're building. Accommodation and compost bins. We built the first compost bin yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we
We'll
did.
he'll drop some of the pictures in there.
Yeah, pictures
with
are
the
coming.
kids too.
It's gonna come in the video.
Yeah.
It's all going on here, and then you come here, you bring your vibes, and because we kind of want to get as many hands to the land as possible.
Yeah.
It's a community thing at the end of the day,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes,
And not just
yes.
a community here, but a wider community.
Yes,
so people can come
yes.
in from wherever they're coming in from. Because listen, from Mexico to London to Wales, community.
It's a global thing.
Exactly.
It is a global
It's
thing.
beyond borders at the end of the
beyond
day.
borders.
Yes. So thank you. Anything else?
Come however you come. Come however you come, and you will leave here lighter. We promise.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm light already. I'm
Yeah,
light already.
You will rest.
I've never
You will
seen
sleep.
them
You
disrested.
will rest.
I've never seen them disrested. But you're not coming just to sleep here. There's
Yeah.
work to be done.
That's
right.
There's work
That's
to be
right.
done.
But we'll feed you.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
This
Yeah.
is
Well,
true.
it's been a pleasure. Thank
It
you very
has
much
been.
You're
for
welcome.
having this interview with us.
Thank you, guys.
It's been
Thank
lovely.
you.
Thank
And
you.
we will see you in the next one. Thanks for being with us. Until the next time,